The ROAS on my account is 4. Again, actually, I only say ROAS because I know if you listen to this and you run ads, people like to know ROAS, but I don't ever measure ROAS myself. So I had to go and find that metric because it wasn't sort of like, it didn't come straight to mind because I don't usually look at it because it's so wildly inaccurate. But it says my ROAS is 4. And I'm spending $50 a day, which is really the bare minimum you should be spending on Advantage Plus shopping or Advantage Plus sales. Hey, welcome to Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. This is episode 129 about Meta's Advantage Plus shopping ads. And I'm calling this episode Your Best Way for New Customers in 2025. I might put a question mark on the end of that title. I'm not sure yet because I think I want to put an exclamation mark on the end of that title because for me in the past 6 to 8 weeks, Meta Advantage Plus shopping has become my best way for acquiring new customers, brand new shoppers who are shopping with me for the very first time. And if you have been listening to my podcast for more than just this episode, you might be surprised to hear this because I have a real love-hate relationship with Advantage Plus shopping ads, which depending on your ad account, your Meta ad account, it might be called Advantage Plus sales. When you set up a campaign, there's lots of changes Meta has been rolling out for the last several months, but lots of changes that are coming across many accounts thick and fast in the last several weeks. So they might be called Advantage Plus shopping. You may find in your account they're called Advantage Plus sales. And I definitely have a love-hate relationship with this type of campaign. Meta launched this type of campaign for the first time, which is its heavy AI campaign. It leans heavy on a very specific algorithm, and it's actually a different algorithm to how Meta's other campaign objectives and other types are founded and built and learn, which is why it's so controversial, I actually want to say. You probably find as many podcast hosts like myself talk about Advantage Plus shopping and hate on it as you will people say that they really love it and it's the way they're growing their business. And that's because it's really volatile, and it still is volatile, but it is getting better. And as it gets better, Meta is pushing us as advertisers and users more and more to becoming the default way in setting up a campaign. I really encourage you to take this episode and decide to do some testing for yourself, or reach out to me and book a discovery call. I'll do that for you in your account, because you're going to need to lean into this if you advertise on Meta. Even if you don't advertise at the moment, but you want new customers for your e-commerce, or if you want new customers for your store, and you are probably convinced after listening to me that Meta can play an integral part in finding you your ideal customer online somewhere, there's going to come a point where you're going to need to decide to really lean into Advantage Plus shopping or Advantage Plus sales, whatever it looks like at the moment in your account that Meta is rolling out, and give it a red hot crack and lean into it with a serious budget and do some testing around it to see what results you get. So, like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with this type of campaign because of its history and my history personally with my e-commerce store. So all through 2024, I tried 3 times through the year, maybe 4. I tried it 3 times seriously, and once it performed quite well, another time amazingly well, another time really terribly. And it was a pretty new type of campaign. Meta only really released this campaign early in 2024 anyway. And I like to stay at the forefront of what they are doing because this is what I do for a living, apart from obviously growing my e-commerce store and sharing those things with you guys. But I have had mixed results with this campaign. And I want to tell you, when I look at my metrics almost most recently, I had huge success through Black Friday, and one of my clients also had massive success through Black Friday with Advantage Plus shopping. I also tried it again in January 2025 and had fairly average results. They were okay. What I did find in January 2025 was that they were not consistent at all. Like I tried a couple of different campaigns. I gave it lots of creative and lots of options to do a campaign and let Meta find my customers for me. And the results were wildly varied. A couple of my campaigns got me results at like $20 per purchase. And some of the other times I tried the campaign, if I started a new campaign or try it again, or with a new budget or a new creative, it got me results for like $55 per purchase. So just like all over the place, really not consistent. It didn't give me any confidence that this algorithm was doing me any good. And I also found in January 2025, lots of my shoppers were repeat customers. So lots of the purchases that Meta was getting or claiming they were getting for me were from people I already knew. All in all, I was disappointed. It wasn't a campaign I was going to continue working with, so I've shelved it. I have come back to it in March 2025, late March, because I'm now talking to you about mid May, and it was probably 6 to 8 weeks ago. I've come back to trying Advantage Plus shopping again, and I'm so glad I did. I've just spent the last 5 minutes sort of hating on the campaign altogether. I just want to sort of give you I only want to give you a real whatever's going on. Like, this is for real what has been going on in my e-commerce store and in my clients' ad accounts as well. But lately, it's been doing really, really well. And I have a feeling that this will become a key part of me acquiring new customers this year, because the results in the last 6 weeks have been very stable. The campaign has sat in my account and kind of ticked along on its own. I've only had to sort of turn it off and relaunch a brand new one, I think once in 6 weeks, which is not bad. I'm really happy with that. I could probably leave it running longer if I had a much bigger budget. But the last time I tried to scale Advantage Plus shopping, which was in January, when I scaled it, it crashed out. It completely crashed out. So I haven't even thought about scaling it this time. I've just let it tick along on its own. But this episode really is, sorry, if you're watching on video, I feel like I must have a hair that is tickling on my nose. It's caught in my glasses somewhere. I keep like catching my nose somewhere. I'm sure there's a hair there. So anyway, if you're not watching on video, I'm just distracting you now. Anyway, this episode is actually about why I'm really thrilled with Advantage Plus shopping now, May 2025. And if you haven't done this sort of campaign in a little while, please give it a shot and try it again. If you haven't done it in a few months, find yourself some budget and give it a try, because you may find the platform has stabilized in your account and it will do really well for you. It may be your best way to find new customers this year. It honestly might be. I think it will be for me. If you listen to my episodes from last year, I'll actually tell you what they are. Episode 116, 117, and 118. They are all about lead generation, because through last year I knew and I quickly discovered, and I had put it off for months, I finally came around to addressing the problem in my own e-commerce store, which is my returning customer rate in Shopify was far too high. My returning customer rate in Shopify in August 2024 was 77%. And if you are new to e-commerce, you may think that's the best metric you have ever heard, but it's the opposite of the best metric. It's a terrible metric, because it means 77% of my customers in August 2024 had already shopped from me before. That's far too high for a sustainable business. And I was beginning to fatigue this poor group of customers, and they were running out of cash and had no more money to spend. I needed brand new customers. And if you also need brand new customers, maybe Advantage Plus shopping ads will be your next thing to try for your e-commerce store. So if you want to go and get some ideas on some lead generation activities you can do to bring in more potential customers into your e-commerce store, I suggest you go listen to episode 116, 117, 118. And all of those episodes are about me addressing my own returning customer rate through sort of last year. I noticed it starting to become a problem about July last year, and finally came around to doing something in about August last year. And so I wanted to do lots of podcast episodes about it. So I sort of dedicated a whole series to it. But now when I look inside my Shopify reports, I pulled a Shopify report. I look at my percentage of brand new customers. I looked at the period January to April 2025 and compared it to January to April 2024. So a 4-month window. My returning customers have gone up by 120%. And this is in no small part because of Advantage Plus shopping ads this year in the last sort of 6 weeks. And prior to that, that's also in no small part to all the effort I put in the second half of last year trying to address the issue I had of returning customers being too high. And I needed brand new customers who'd never found my brand before, never shopped, and didn't know the products that I had, which I am now getting through the door on a consistent basis because of the Advantage Plus shopping ad. So my returning customers have started to improve. I still have a very high percentage because I have a subscription box. So I'm always going to have a large percentage of returning customers, because lots of my payments run every month from people who are existing customers. So that's that's not a metric I would ever try and change that metric. I'll keep that metric very happily. But yeah, the change I have had in a 4-month period, I have increased the number of new customers by 120%, which is more than double. Really thrilled with that. That sort of shows a lots of the work I put in through last year and through those episodes I talked about has paid off. And in the last several weeks, that is in no small part, is a significant part to do with the stabilization of Meta. The other episode you could go and listen to is episode 122 and 123. They are very recent episodes all about Meta Advantage Plus shopping ads. One of them is literally what to do if they're not working. So if you find you've used them in your ad account and they're not working, what do you do next? One of those episodes is about that. And the other episode I recorded earlier this year about the changes that are coming to Meta and what I think about it, and just talking through how the platform is changing in general. So those episodes are a bit related to this one, probably more so, is episode 122 and 123. So just as a headline sentence, Black Friday was amazing for me with Advantage Plus shopping. In August 2024, I spent $1,000 and didn't get back $1,000 in revenue. Plus the revenue I got back was all the customers pretty much I had seen before. Before that, I think in March 2024, it had done really well for a period of a couple of weeks. And before that, in earlier March or maybe February 2024, it had tanked, and the algorithm had no idea what it was doing. It was bouncing all over the place because it's only a new campaign. So I have sort of come and gone back to Advantage Plus shopping a couple of times. I know I need to get it right. And if you are listening to this and you are serious about growing in e-commerce, if you are serious about growing an online business in Australia, or wherever, really, it probably doesn't really matter. If you're serious about growing an online business or even a local business and you need leads and you need customers to be booking, you need to take Meta ads seriously, because Meta ads is not just Facebook, it's Instagram and it's Messenger and other places that you might see. It's Marketplace. Like, there are many places that a Meta ad will show up. And of course, there are other types of ads out there: Google, TikTok, Pinterest, all the places around. But depending what your budget is and depending where your customers are, I will always advocate for Meta, because Meta just crosses demographically so many areas in such a large way with different interests and different platforms. I haven't got to TikTok yet. It's on my list of things to do one day, is to try and work out TikTok ads, but let's worry about that for a problem for another day. At the moment, I'm just stoked that my ads are working really well, and I haven't scaled them. Like I said, I have left the budget the same. I want to share some of the results that I have had inside my account in the last several weeks, and also a client's account, which I'm obviously not going to give you any details about this account at all, just some of the basic metrics. And the reason I'm doing this is because, particularly in my client's account, some of the features have changed significantly from mine. So the metrics I'll share with you about my Meta dashboard, and remember, take this with not a grain of salt, it's not that bad, but remember, your Meta dashboard is part of the story. You need to be looking at Meta, GA4 and Shopify, and compare those things together to really get a true picture of what's going on. If you want to get yourself a third-party plugin to Meta that will really clean through the data and give you a much clearer attribution path, you can do that, but that's awfully expensive software to have. And I would argue, if you've got revenue of like $500,000 a year or less, I would argue it's not worth it. What I would argue is there are far more different things you could be spending your time on and your money on to grow your business in other ways, and to get more people into the top of your marketing funnel, then trying to clean up that kind of data and work out exactly where a person came from and where they landed and how long for and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes we can sort of get caught up in the weeds and lose sight of the whole picture. The whole picture is you need your account larger overall. Maybe you need more customers overall. E-commerce is a mathematical equation. If you need more customers overall, you actually need more people in the top of your marketing funnel, which means you need more people to see your brand, which means you might need more video views, more people engaging with your content, more people on your website, more people seeing a product. Maybe you need to go live on social media. You need more users in the top of the marketing funnel. If you are selling online, like many of us, I am, anyone listening to you probably is, or you're looking for customers or leads online, it's a mathematical equation. And you can only determine if your mathematical equation is looking in your business favorably or not favorably when you've got some data to look at. Like, what are you going to compare it to otherwise? Otherwise, we end up going on our feelings, and that never ends well. It never ends well. So if you need more customers this year, you probably need more people in the top of your marketing funnel. You need to expand the reach of your business as a whole. You need more users to see you that will then start trickling down to know, like, trusting you, coming back, visiting again, seeing an email, coming to your website, seeing another ad, finally deciding to purchase, going into an email flow, coming back to purchase again. That whole customer journey that goes around and around is a little bit like a circle, then that might be what you need, is just more people in the top of your funnel. In which case, episode 115, 116, and 117 from last year will be just what you need to listen to. Right, so my meta dashboard, which is part of the story, it's not 100% accurate, but it's accurate enough for this episode, is the cost per result I currently have in the last 7 days is $16 per purchase. I love cost per result. It's my favorite metric to look at inside Meta. How much does it cost me to get what I've asked Meta to find me? Cost per video view, cost per landing page view, cost per viewed content, cost per engagement, cost per purchase. At the moment, cost per purchase for me is $16, which is about a quarter of my AOV, so my average order value. So I'm beyond happy with that, because in Meta, you can really expect to pay about your average order value for a new customer. If you are paying $50 for a brand new customer on Meta and your average order value is $50, it's actually not terrible. I don't like that metric because I can do better. That would make me really sad. But if you are only doing this sporadically, or you're a beginner with Meta ads and you're looking after themselves, or you're just experimenting and trying things, that's not a campaign that is performing terribly. That's why you need kind of that integration of email marketing and a pop-up and avenues to collect these users in other ways and reach out to them more cost effectively, so that you can really make the most of the lifetime value of the customer that you do manage to acquire, which for me is obviously my returning customer rate, but it had just gotten way out of whack, like way out of whack. The balance was far off. To be a 77% returning customer rate is really unhealthy. So that's something I have obviously been actively rectifying the last 6 months. The ROAS on my account is 4. Again, actually, I only say ROAS because I know if you listen to this and you run ads, people like to know ROAS, but I don't ever measure ROAS myself. So I had to go and find that metric because it wasn't sort of like, it didn't come straight to mind, because I don't usually look at it because it's so wildly inaccurate. But it says my ROAS is 4. And I'm spending $50 a day, which is really the bare minimum you should be spending on Advantage Plus shopping or Advantage Plus sales. If you're going to do one of those campaigns and give it a try, don't spend less than $50 a day. It's really, really not worth it. The only way I will say a smaller budget than $50 a day is worth it is for my client. And that's because I'm testing something inside his ad account, and it has been worth it in the last 7 days. And I think that's because it's Meta is finding all of his like low hanging fruit. So when you start a campaign, if it finds its feet very quickly, it's capturing all of those people who are kind of warm already. Meta does all this retargeting for us. We can't turn it off anymore at all. We used to be able to kind of turn it off. We can still add exclusions into a campaign, but Meta pays no attention to those. I'm convinced of it. I don't think Meta really pays any attention to exclusions that we ask it to like remove. Like, please don't target my customer list. I don't think Meta pays it. They take it as suggestions, not things that it will actually do, even though we've asked it to. So for my client, I think his results have been great in the last 7 days because Meta is quickly finding the low-hanging fruit in his account because of the great creative that's associated with the campaign and the great offer. Much of the success I have found with Advantage Plus shopping in my account, my client's account, and I think, and I'm going to say across the board, is a good offer. Don't send people to a generic catalog unless you haven't tried it and you want to test it, please do. But if you have found it didn't work for you with the generic catalog, think of a specific offer. Do you have a clearance collection or a buy one, get one free, or something really enticing, and send them there? For my e-commerce store, I'm sending them to one product that's massively discounted. And that's the campaign that's been performing well for 6 weeks now. And my client is experiencing something similar. It's not a generic catalog. And also in my client's account, I was really interested to see he has much more creative enhancements than I do. So when I looked and built his account for him just a week ago, and I looked at some of the creatives that it gave me the options for, I was able to create much more interesting creative in his account than I could in mine, which was really interesting. It just goes to show you that these things are not universal, that different features and different functionalities exist in different accounts. So his creative is really, really strong. I'm confident of that. That shows in the number of people who are clicking on his ad. So, and I think that's because the enhancements or the extra features he seems to have in his account on the creative side that I currently don't have in my own. So in his account, he is getting purchases at the moment for $21 per purchase, but his AOV is so much higher than mine. His AOV is really high. So the ROAS on his account is 8, double my ROAS. And remember, a ROAS disclaimer, I don't like the metric ROAS, but if you look at ROAS and you're interested to really get an idea of why this is a good result for his account, it says the ROAS is 8. So crazy good, really good. So we'll see how long that keeps rolling for before things. I get so nervous with this type of campaign. With the history I've had with it, I get so nervous it's going to tank and just suddenly fall off a cliff overnight. Okay, I better wrap this up. Hey, what I will say is, well, when I look in my Google Analytics account at my campaign and how well it's doing, those metrics support Meta. Always look for a little confirmation. Don't take one piece of data as like the truth without going and finding some corroborating evidence to support it or dispute it. So Meta thinks it's doing a great job for me. I think it is too, because I can see customers coming through with names I don't recognize and it's their first order. I'm like, this is great. These are definitely new customers. I know these, I've never seen these people before. But when I look in GA4, Meta Advantage Plus shopping campaign is the top driver of my engaged sessions for the past 30 days. In fact, at the moment, it's driving 35% of my engaged traffic to my website. That is a great stat even on its own. If you're looking in GA4 for engaged sessions, that means it's not just somebody who's around for a long time. Google has specific benchmarks for what they class as engaged. And if someone is engaged, they're sort of looking, clicking, they're actively scrolling, like they're not just sitting there on a dormant like tab on their browser. They're actually doing stuff. So for 35% of my current traffic to be coming from my Advantage Plus shopping campaign confirms to me the metrics in Meta are as good as I think they are. So I'm happy about that. And the other metric that's worth looking at is the average time on site. And Meta Advantage Plus shopping at the moment is driving my top performing campaign for the amount of time someone's on my website. In fact, 2 minutes 55 seconds on average someone is on my website when they come from Meta Advantage Plus shopping. The platform is getting better. Meta is getting better. These results are not as volatile as they were even 3 months ago, let alone 12 months ago. So I'm not going to apologize that my last couple of episodes have been hating on Advantage Plus shopping, because it still is a bit of a gamble, but not in a gambly way. And it really is something you need to test in your own account. I've always said that you need to test and try it. And if it doesn't work, you need to decide a time you'll come back and try it again, because Meta will continue to push down this road. They're not rolling this stuff back. We're headed this way now. So if you are an advertiser, if you have a Shopify, if you have an e-commerce store, if you have a business that needs clients and you need more clients and you need more customers, Meta will need to play a big part in that this year for you. Advantage Plus shopping may be one of the ways that you will find new customers this year, but you've got to kind of be open to it and come at it with like an open testing experiment philosophy and try something to get some data. Don't go and listen to another 15 podcasts after this one before you decide to jump in and give this a try. Come and reach out to me, book a discovery call, let me look after this for you for a month. Go ahead and set aside a budget, determine what you want to spend and try this for yourself. See what happens, and then you have a benchmark to go on so that you know if they were good results or bad results, and it will give you an idea then of what to do next, and also something to compare to next time you decide to come back and try this sort of campaign again if it doesn't go well for you. What if it does go well for you? I'm being such a negative Nelly, I'm realizing. When this is doing so well for me, it might do really well for you as well. You might just be so thrilled you listened to this episode and decided to give Advantage Plus shopping a shot. Spend $50 a day for the next 14 days. I'd probably give it I would give it about that long. Set aside at least a budget for that before you pull the pin and decide it wasn't worth it. See what happens. It honestly may be the best decision you make this year in acquiring new customers. I'm beginning to think this might be my best little window for acquiring new customers for my e-commerce store too for 2025. Thanks for hanging out with me today. As always, you can find me Aussie Online Growing on shopify.com.au. I'll see you next time. Keep learning.